This is a highly capable and competitive mini FLL robot that is literally can fit in your hand. And it is so tiny and so small, but it's so capable. It's got 2 light sensors on the front, 2 attachment motors. It has everything you could want in a first LEGO League robot. It's got passive attachment mounts, it's got back bumpers, it's got the whole shebang. This guy can pack a big punch in a first LEGO League match. So can its little brother, this guy, the 1 motor, 1 light sensor version. This thing has some cool features. Let's build it, build one for yourself, test it and see for yourself that this thing is great. And you'll see it in my videos. You'll see its little brother in the light version. So I've got a build video on just the basic kit. This robot, the light version, is just from the Spike Prime Education Kit. And I've got this one that has the expansion set parts included. You need an expansion set to build this one. You only need a base kit to build the light one. So let's stop wasting time and let's get building. All right, let's get to building. And I've got all of my parts, and all of these parts are in the just the Spike Prime kit only. There's nothing in the parts that I'm going to use that is outside of the Spike Prime set. If there is something or another option of something, I'm going to say it. But we are building the base model, the light or a mini robot with only 1 attachment motor today, and 1 light sensor. So 1 light sensor, 1 attachment motor. This is a great FLL robot, especially for youngsters or newbies, or inexperienced FLLers alike. This is a great robot that you can base off of and build and experiment with, also in the classroom as well. So let's get started. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my large motor out of my kit. And I'm going to kind of face it with the blue to my left and the white to my right. And then I'm going to grab a 3x3 purple plate. Really, the color doesn't matter, black or purple, and 2 parallel connecting pegs. Now, the parallel connecting pegs are going to go on either side or top or bottom, however you're holding it, of this guy. And then on the bottom, I'm actually going to put a yellow number 3 beam. Again, the color doesn't matter if you're just building this from random parts, but in the Spike Prime set, the number 3 beams are yellow. And then on the top, I'm gonna put a number 9 beam, black beam, just like that. So I have a kind of this T shape, and I'm gonna take 2 black pegs and put them right here on these kind of middle holes of the motor. And then this is just gonna pop right on like that. While I'm here, I'm gonna go ahead and put this gray gear on. So I'm gonna use 2 black pegs in the gear or in the motor, and then find my gear and put it on just like that. All right, moving on, I'm gonna kind of turn this over a little bit and I'm gonna look at the bottom. And I'm gonna take 4 of these parallel connectors like this and stick them 1, 2, 3, 4 in the bottom of this motor. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I'm going to kind of just set this there and find my medium motors or my small motors, whatever size motors they are. And I'm gonna place these with the blue rings facing out, and they just clip right on like that. Clip, clip, just like that. And now this is kind of like the core of the robot. This is what everything else is kind of built around and built off of, and we're ready to keep on rolling. Flipping over, I am going to start building out some bottom structure of this this guy, and I'm gonna put a black peg here, 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 and here. So 4 black pegs, one here, one here, one here, and one here. And then I'm gonna take this 5x7 black picture frame or black rectangle and clip it on there just to kind of help hold me sturdy a little bit. All right, I'm gonna flip back over and just finish out building some stuff on the front of the robot, but I wanted to get this on here just so it didn't jiggle around so much. All right, I'm gonna take a blue number 3 peg and I'm gonna stick it here and here. So one there and one here. It's also worth noting that this is gonna be the front of the robot. This is the back of the robot. I'm building the front to my left, the back to my right. I'm gonna grab another number 9 beam and I'm gonna put it on there just like that. So I should have 2 number 9 beams right beside each other. Then 2 black pegs, one here and one here. So right beside the blue pegs that are sticking up, just like that. And now I am going to take 2 number 5 beams and I'm going to place them with 2 holes out, sticking out of the front, and 1 hole sticking out of the back. Just like this. Next, I'm going to grab my 7x11, I think it is, picture frame or rectangle beam structure thingy, whatever they're called. And on the top of it, I'm going to take a black peg and I'm going to stick it on this end, and another black peg and I'm going to stick it on this end. And now I'm ready to set it underneath this guy. It's going to kind of go click right in like that, and that's going to kind of build out where we put our attachments at. While I'm here, and so I don't forget them later, I'm going to take gray pegs like this. I'm going to stick one on this side, and I'm going to stick one on this side, and that's what's going to hold our attachment mounts in place. They go in to hold them, and then you pull them out to take the attachment out. I'm going to flip my robot back over, and I'm ready to start building out the front bumper portion. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take 2 blue pegs, and I'm going to put them right here and right here, just like that. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a black number 15 beam, and this is the widest point of the robot. It's a very, very skinny robot, which is nice and small. And I'm going to put it on just like that. Make sure it's all centered. There should be 3 holes on each side of each blue peg, just like that. Then I'm going to take 2 black pegs and I'm going to put them, skip a hole from the blue peg into the middle. So skip a hole, put one, skip a hole, put one. All right, we're ready to keep going. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab another one of these 3x3 plates, and I'm going to put the rounded portion towards the front of the robot. So again, this is the front. I'm going to stick the rounded portion out so the holes are on the sides of the robot, because we're going to use those. Okay, now I'm going to stick a black peg here and a black peg here. All right. And then I'm gonna grab my light sensor. My light sensor, I'm gonna kind of make sure my wire comes back, and I'm gonna stick on these 2 pegs right there. Again, make sure my wire comes back and is kind of out of the way. Then I'm going to do the same thing with black pegs there and there. Black peg here, oops, and a black peg here. And this is all kind of wobbly, and you're probably thinking, oh, well, how in the world am I going to keep that from wobbling? It's not attached to anything. We're going to fix that right now. Now, I'm going to stick a black peg in this hole right here, just like, just like that. And then back here in this hole, just like this. While I'm here, I'm going to stick one in that hole as well. Then I'm going to flip it all the way back over and stick one in that hole on the front of the other motor. And what we're going to do is we're going to take number 15 beams, black number 15 beams, and we're going to take them all the way from the front all the way to the back, and they're going to kind of stick out the back a little. I'm going to take number 15 beams, and we're going to kind of stick them through here and clip them with the front like that. They're going to stick out the back a little bit. That's perfectly okay. Perfectly fine. Now, if you happen to have number 13 beams, like the blue ones, then you can certainly use number 13 beams here, and they won't stick out the back. But these, to keep it in the spike prime kit only, we're going to use 15 beams here. Come on now. Once these go on, they're not going anywhere. There we go. And that perfectly secures that. That's not going to jiggle. That's not going to do anything to come apart. With my robot, just like this, kind of leaning back towards me, I'm going to keep working. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a tan frictionless half axle, half peg connector, and I'm going to put it right here beside that light sensor. I'm going to grab another one, and I'm going to put it right here by that little plate. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of these white axle connectors, and I'm going to stick it on both, one on each of the tan connectors there, and then after that, 2 number 3 axles, just like this. 1, 2. And what that's going to do is going to help steady your robot, just in case you get going a little too fast, you don't tip forward. Okay. Next, we're going to continue building out the bottom of this, and what we're going to do is we're going to take a parallel connector, and we're going to put it on the front 2 holes. So this is the front of the robot, the front 2 holes of this black rectangle beam, one on each side, just like that. And then I'm going to take this 90-degree connector thing. I call it a llama. It's probably not proper terms. I know it's not the proper terms, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of its pegs, and I'm going to stick it in the back hole like that. I'm going to do that on each side, just like that. Next, I'm going to take a black peg and stick it in the middle here, like that. One on each side. Next, I'm going to take a number 11 beam. Those are the purple ones in the Spike Prime kit. And I'm going to take it from the black peg forward. So I'm going to go from the black peg forward, just like that. And again, on the same on the other side from the black peg forward. Oop. Just like that. Okay. I'm gonna flip the robot back over, and I'm gonna actually just kind of put it on its side like this. Next, what we're gonna do is we're gonna start building out the back bumper portion before we go any farther. So, what we're gonna do is we're going to grab a number 3 beam, and I'm gonna stick it right like that on the this last gray connector. And then I'm going to take a 3x5L, and I'm going to use blue connectors, number 3 connectors, on that kind of stick out from this number 3 beam like that. So 2 blue number 3 connectors that stick out, and then a black peg right here, which is the first open hole on the robot. And then I'm gonna put my 3x5L on top of it, just like that. And then on that portion, I'm gonna take another number 3 beam, click it on, we're good to go. Let's flip it over and do the same thing to the other side. So again, a 3x5 or 3 number 3 beam on this last connecting peg, 2 number 3 connectors, and then a black peg in the first open hole on the purple beam or the number 11 beam, and then a 3x5L that goes over top of that, just like that, and then another number 3 beam. Next, I'm going to kind of flip the robot on its side again. I'm looking at the left side. So we are ready to start making this the max version with the 2 light sensors and the 2 motors, attachment motors. Now, the light with the 1 attachment motor and 1 light sensor is the same drive base. So this is actually a light drive base. And I'm just gonna make it a max. And first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this out, and you might say, oh, well, why didn't you just do that from the beginning? But they're the same pretty much, except for this light sensor. So I'm using the same footage for the light video as I am the max video. Then I'm gonna take this light sensor, put it in its place here, and clip that back in. So now I have 2 light sensors ready to go on this robot. Make sure that the cable allows me to click everything in, and we're good to go. All right, next, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take 4 black pegs and put them in the back of this attaching motor right here. So in the far corners, 1, 2, 3, 4, just like that. Now I'm going to take my second motor, large motor that I got from my expansion kit, and I am going to just clip it on the back just like that with the white and blue opposite of the other motor. And what that does is it just flops the side of the attachment on the robot, which is sometimes handy. So adds some variety in how we can attach things to our robots. Next, I'm going to take a 3x3 plate and 2 parallel connectors and put it in that 3x3 plate like that. 1 in the top, 1 in the bottom. And then I'm going to take a number 9 beam and put it on top. and a number 7 beam and put it on the bottom. And then I'm gonna put 2 black pegs right here, one there and one there. Get this cable out of the way. And then I'm gonna set this on here like so. Even though this number 7 beam is not attached to anything, it helps carry the weight of everything against these motors, and it all fits wonderfully. Next, I'm gonna take 2 blue pegs and stick them on the outsides of this motor so I can add another number 9 beam all the way across, just like that. So 2 blue pegs and a number 9. And then I'm gonna grab 2 black pegs and stick them on the ends of this first beam, number 9 beam, just like that. So I should have black peg, blue peg, black peg, blue peg in those number 9s with this assembly there. While I'm here, I'm gonna go ahead and put 2 black pegs in the motor with the gray gear. And then I'm gonna put a black peg here and a black peg here. Just like that. And then grab my other large picture frame, or 7x11 picture frame, and I'm gonna stick it on there just like that. Next, I'm gonna grab 2 black pegs, put one here, like that, and the other one on the other side, on the farthest hole, like that. And then I'm going to take 2 number 5 beams, do the same thing, should just mirror this side over here with the way that it attaches, just like that and that. And now I have my second attachment ready to go. While I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and put the gray pegs in so I don't forget later down the road. And I'm just going to push them all the way in for now so they kind of stay a little bit out of the way. I'm ready to put my hub on, and I'm just going to take my hub, find my front with the USB, and the USB part has the little notch out in it. And I'm going to, in the 4 middle holes, just go ahead and put some black pegs. And then with the button towards the rear of the robot where the back bumper pads are, I'm just gonna kind of clip it in just like that. Now, next, I'm going to go ahead and add some support onto the front to help hold the brick on. So I'm going to take this 4x2L, and I'm going to take a gray or tan frictionless half axle, half peg piece, put it in the top, just like that. And then a black peg here and a black peg here, just like that. And I'm going to place it on the robot like so, just like that. Next, I'm going to take another one, gray or tan frictionless piece, half axle, half peg there. And they can be friction pieces, the blue ones as well, it doesn't matter. Gray is just what I picked up. And I'm going to put it on the other side, just like that. All right, moving on. In the back of the brick on the side, I'm going to take 2 blue number 3 pegs and put them in both those holes, just like that. And then take a number 3 axle, or I'm sorry, number 3 beam, and push it on, just like that. Flip it over, do the same thing, 2 blue pegs and a number 3 beam. So 2 blue pegs and a number 3 beam. With the robot on the side, I'm going to start building out some more support on the sides here before I put the wheels on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a black peg right here. Just like that. And then I'm going to take this blue number 13 beam, and it's going to span from this black peg to the bottom blue peg there, just like that. And now I'm going to add some cable management pieces that I'm going to use later, and they don't all have to be the same color, but I'm going to use one of these black 2-part axle, 1-part connector pieces and put a cable management piece on it. And I'm going to stick it right here, and I'm going to do that again. One of the 2-part axle, 1-part connectors with the cable management piece, and I'm going to stick it right here. I'm going to start connecting some other things together for some cable management things in just a moment. But before I do, I want to make sure that these are ready to go. So I'm actually going to, which I forgot to do initially, I'm going to pull this cable behind this blue beam and reconnect it like that. And this one's okay, this one's okay, this one's okay. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a black peg here and put it here and here, black peg here, black peg here, and then a number 5 beam to connect all those together. Just like that. I'm going to flip it over. We're going to do the same thing to the other side of the robot. Now, since I remembered this time, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this cable around like this, and then I'm going to put a black peg right here. Take a number 13 beam that's going to span from that black peg all the way up to that blue peg, just like this. And then I'm going to go ahead and grab some cable management pieces and these 2-part axle, 1-part peg connectors. Oop. And one's going to go right here, and the other one is going to go right here. So again, they don't all have to be the same color. This is the only red one I just happened to pick up. So just like that. Now a blue peg here, or a black peg here and a black peg here. So black and black, and then a number 5 beam to connect those together, just like that. Next, I'm going to go ahead and start putting the wheels on, and then once we put the wheels on, we can do the cable management and wrap all this robot up. So now I'm going to do a black peg and a black peg, just 2 in the wheel. That's all you need. 2, 1, 2, and then I'm going to match my wheel with the indicators like that, and then put 2 more black pegs in the opposite holes that I did before on that wheel. 1, 2, and then one of these 3x3 black plates. You can use a purple if you want to. I just like it black because it blends into the wheel. What that does, it helps protects the wheel from rubbing against the wall. While I'm on this side, I'm going to go ahead and start doing my back wheel as well. And in order to do that, I'm just going to kind of flip it over like this on its top and let it sit on the spike prime hub. And I'm going to find 2 of these black wheel pulley. They're kind of meant for pulleys, kind of meant for wheels, whatever they are. We're using them as wheels. And I'm going to use those as my back wheels, 2 on each side since we have the expansion set. So I'm going to put those on a number, at least a number 5 axle, but you can go all the way up to a number 7 axle. This is a number 7 axle. And I'm going to put 2 on and then kind of button it up with one of these yellow bushings like that. And then I'm gonna find one of these gray bushings that looks like this. And then I'm going to just kind of stick this gray bushing all the way down in there like that, up against this back peg, and I'm gonna shove this in like that. It goes all the way through, and that's going through this last hole in there. I'm gonna flip it back on its side, and then I'm gonna put a black peg right above the wheel in that number 13 beam, and then another black peg right here all the way at the end. And then I'm going to take a 3x5L and connect those together just to add a little bit of protection for that wheel. All right, flipping the robot over, we're gonna do the same thing with the other wheel. Black peg, two of them, and then make sure my wheel indicators line up. That on the motor, and that on the wheel. There we go, just like that. And then black peg, and then with the black plate. We're ready for the back wheel now, and I'm going to take the black wheels or black pulley, whatever they are that I find, and kind of make sure that they're on a number 7 or number 5 axle. Don't go above a number 7. And then I'm going to button it off with one of these yellow bushings. Flip my robot over. Find that gray bushing again, just like that. And then stick it in there, let it set like that. And then under this, in that hole, go all the way in. And both back wheels spin freely. And then I just need to add that little bit of extra support. So I'm going to put a black peg here and a black peg here above the wheels, just like that. One there, and one here. Then take that 3x5L and put it on just like that. We're pretty much structurally done. We just have some cable management to do. And here's how we're going to wire this guy up. I'm gonna find my drive motor wires, and this is one, and this is one. Since this drive motor, I've got the front of the robot away from me, the back of the robot towards me. Since this drive motor is on the left side, I'm gonna plug it into A because A is on the left side. And B, this one, the right drive motor, is on the right side, so I'm going to plug it into B since B is on the right side. Next, I'm going to do my front attachment motor, and I'm going to plug that into C, and that's this cable here, but there's this kind of gap underneath the Spike Prime hub and the motors. I'm going to shove it in there, feed it all the way through. Hopefully it comes through. All right, there we go. And then I'm going to plug it into C. My rear attachment motor, I'm going to do the same exact thing. I'm going to find it, I'm going to run it through that gap, and then I'm going to go ahead and plug it into D. So I've got everything plugged in except for the light sensors. And I like to plug my light sensors in on whatever side of the robot they are. So this one will go into E, and this one will go into F. This is that one, so I'm just gonna plug it into F. And this is the one on the left, so I'm gonna plug it into E. And I am ready to just wrap up the cable management here and go drive this robot. So with the robot on its side, you can pick a side, it doesn't really matter. We're just gonna kind of start grabbing cables with these attachment pieces, and this is where everybody's is going to be different because all your cables are different, but do make sure that they're not rubbing any wheels or anything like that. Make sure everything is nice and tight. They're not rubbing wheels or gears or things that might cause them to have error later on. So once you are confident that you have everything tucked away, okay, then you can just kind of, it takes a little bit of finagling and a little bit of pushing and stuff like that. I'm gonna kind of get my cables just like that, and then I'm going to take a black peg and I'm going to stick it right here in the front attachment frame of my robot. Then I'm going to stick another one right here in the, right here in the blue number 13 beam that's in line with this cable management piece. Then I'm going to take a number 11 beam and stick it right there. Next, I'm going to take a blue peg and I'm going to stick it in the top portion of that hub right there. And then I'm going to take one of these black sleeves or black connector covers, whatever they are, I don't know what they're called. And I'm going to put it on there just so I don't have a naked stud. Then I'm going to take one of these blue curved pieces, stick it on just like that to wrap up cable management on that side. Flipping over, we're going to do the same thing, just mirrored. So grab some cables with the cable management pieces and pin them in there. Again, if you don't, here we go, pull that down and over. Everybody's going to be a little bit different just because that's how we do it. I'm going to pull the wheel off because it actually makes it a little bit easier. Like this. Come on now. There we go. Got what I wanted. Put the wheel back on and then shove some cable underneath here. Give myself a little bit more room. All right. I think we're okay. And then what I'm going to do, sometimes you have to hold the cable down, put a peg here in line with that, a peg here in line with that, and a number 11 beam across them. Wonderful. Last thing, take a blue connecting number 3 peg, put it in the top of that hub, a black sleeve so there's no naked stud, and then your blue covering piece. And after you have that, you have one perfectly capable robot. Now, the one thing that I didn't talk about was these guys in the front, and these are just number 2-part axle, 1-part connecting pieces, so you can put them in the very, very ends of your front bumper piece, that number 15 black beam. And what that allows you to do is have a passive attachment go on and off very, very quickly in your matches. And that's it, a perfectly capable competitive robot that you'll see in my videos that hopefully you have a lot of success with, and good luck with it. I'll see you all in the next video.